Tom Scioli only knows how to do one thing, and that is make fun comics. All of his comics are just so fun and bombastic, and his ideas are incredible and imaginative. And one of his latest comics is featuring one of my favorite monsters ever, Godzilla. And this is Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, because Tom Scioli can't just do a normal Godzilla comic. That would be not fun. So he's going to do one that features all these public domain characters like the Great Gatsby, Dracula, the Time Machinist, Sherlock Holmes, and so many more. So I'm going to put this book under the microscope today. I'm going to flip the camera around. Stay tuned and watch this video until the end. My name is Taylor. This is Taylor Talks Comics. Thank you for joining me on my 31 days of horror comics. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below with your thoughts. But yes, subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. You don't want to miss out on any of my 31 days of horror comics all throughout the month of October. Now today, under the microscope, we have Tom Scioli, one of my favorite topics to talk about, one of my favorite cartoonists going today. And I was so excited to read this. Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater. The actual concept of this story is such a Tom Scioli concept. I was thrilled to read it, and it definitely paid off in its experience as far as a Tom Scioli comic, which, again, I always describe his comics as just being fun, just being bombastic. It's like so toyetic and just incredible and loud and colorful and, I don't know, imaginative is a good way to describe it. But I love this cover. The front cover here is an homage to Fantastic Four #1, which Tom Scioli has his experience with Fantastic Four and Jack Kirby. But instead we get Godzilla popping out of the ground here with the question mark. Sherlock Holmes, the Great Gatsby, the Time Machinist. So it's showing off the characters you're going to see throughout this. And here's the back cover. Godzilla takes on J. Gatsby, Sherlock Holmes, and the Time Machinist in this graphic novel mashup. This is put out by IDW. Here's the opening title page. Story, art, and letters by Tom Scioli. Yes, that's right. Tom Scioli does every bit of this comic. There's no bit of it that he did not do. And then we get the cover to break apart each issue, because this was collected in 3 single issues. And we get a cover to break apart each of those issues, which is awesome. I love that in a collected edition. And then we start off. It just starts off as Jay Gatsby, telling the story of Jay Gatsby. I love the coloring all throughout this. Tom Scioli brought the whole shebang here when it came to, again, that bombast, that fun, that imaginativeness of all these characters. And it does still maintain that standard Tom Scioli style of just pencils and colors, no inking on his work. And then all fun and games until we see these eyes throughout this window. And that's when Godzilla comes about. And that Gatsby bought that house so that Daisy would be just across the bay, but then it's on fire. So this is where the mashup begins. And I love the layouts too that Scioli does. He really plays with the form of the layouts in a way that he does do in Xanadax, the space opera, which I have a review on my channel. But he really starts to play with it more and more. And it's like every time I read a Tom Scioli comic, it's like he pushes the envelope of his art style and what he can do with comics more and more and more. And I love that in an artist, to see that they're not just stuck in one style or stuck in one way of storytelling, that he's going out there and experimenting with his own artwork. Here's Jay Gatsby trying to gather some friends to fight against Godzilla. He encounters Thomas Edison, and that goes awry. And then we see Godzilla over the top of these cities. Like every time he uses Godzilla in a frame at all, it's always in a really great, kaiju monster-esque way that really sells the size and scale of Godzilla. And I love any sort of like introduction of a character with this lettering here, like Jay Gatsby and the G-Force. So the G-Force in this story, the G stands for Gatsby. And again, it's Jay Gatsby trying to collect all these different people that are knowledgeable in some sort of way to fight against Godzilla. And here's Sherlock Holmes, where he's standing in, we first see him standing in a footprint of Godzilla. Jay Gatsby's trying to recruit him. And then Jules Verne, cyborgs. He's created a cyborg version of Jules Verne, and that's another character he's trying to bring along for the mission here. And we even got Doc Watson as well, who's a little bit different than the Doc Watson we know from the books. And then Dracula, who's always got a blood red painted over his eyes, which is a cool character design touched by Scioli. And all of that's like a great 2-page splash, by the way. Just want to stop on there. But all of that's like planting seeds, because these characters are going to pay off in some sort of way throughout the rest of the story, the next issues and things. And that's the end of the first issue. I think these are all 48-page issues, if I remember. Here's the cover for issue number 2, again with the lettering showing off who's who in this submarine. And here's Jay Gatsby going to war with his new recruits, trying to fight off Godzilla underneath the water. And you get all the drama from the Great Gatsby story. It evolved throughout here as well, and the romance and all those things tying together. Like, you can tell that Tom Scioli read these books probably recently, but had read them at least in his past. It wasn't just let's throw in Sherlock Holmes, let's throw in Jay Gatsby. Like, he actually read these, because you could tell by the character moments that they're very close to the characters with the novels. But yeah, this is Godzilla going to France. He's going off the world and trying to fight him off before he destroys everything. And they trap him on the Eiffel Tower where he's electrocuted. How many times do you see the skeleton of Godzilla in here? And then again, we're getting the Dracula is being kind of told here with Dracula here is being foreshadowed for his involvement in this whole story. And just again, grotesque monster. Tom Shelley knows when to do a big panel. It's important and stands out, and when not to. Like, as far as storytelling goes, there's very few comics storytellers that are as good as him. And then here's the third chapter, and this is when it gets to the real Tom Scioli aspects. This is when he just goes full Scioli on this comic. So we get Godzilla, and you see on the cover here, we have Dracula, the werewolf, the mummy, and Frankenstein. And this then turns into, I'm trying to spoil too much here, but this then turns into all these Universal monsters that you're familiar with, which they're not the official Universal monsters because IDW doesn't want to be sued, but the same monsters that are public domain now. You see they turn into kaiju versions of themselves, and they start fighting Godzilla, toe for toe, like toe to toe, fist for fist, like they're all the same size as Godzilla, and they're going to war with him. And then Jay Gatsby turns into kaiju sized. And that's all I want to say as far as the story goes. It's just so much fun. I cannot recommend this enough. We get some variant covers here. So Tom Scioli did a variant cover for each issue as well. And I love this piece. It's like a traditional novel cover, it looks like. Same thing with issue number 2. Here's a Jim Rugg variant. And he did really cool, I think it's I forget what the technique is called, but some sort of press technique here that he used for the coloring, which looked really cool. And here's Patrick Horvath, who did a really cool Godzilla encountering France design. And here's Jay Gonzo, where he's encountering Dracula, and Jim Mahfood. The only thing I'll say Jim Mahfood did 3 covers. The only thing I'll say about Jim Mahfood's covers and Jim Rugg's, they're both amazing artwork. I love, they're 2 of my other favorite cartoonists going today is Mahfood and Rugg. I just wish they would have incorporated some of the actual aspects of the story, like the Jay Gatsby, Dracula kind of pieces here, like Jay Gonzo did here with Dracula. But they just kind of did their own kind of riff on Godzilla, which, again, cool art pieces, but I wish they would have incorporated the story a little bit more. Then here's Art Adams. This piece was done in 2017, and Laura Martin on colors on this part. And then here's some concept art by Scioli. It deals in the back. We see him working out the roughs. And this is probably some of the stuff that he sent to him with the script, kind of showing off the idea of what he wants to do with the story. But so much fun. I can't recommend this enough if you're a Godzilla fan or just a fan of mashing up novels with Godzilla. At times it really reminded me of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill took a lot of the Victorian era characters, fictional characters, and then put them into a mashup story. Kind of remind me of that a lot, but with this Tom Scioli bombast. So much fun. One of the most fun comics I read this year. Cannot recommend it enough. Please give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below with your thoughts, your favorite Godzilla comics, your favorite Tom Scioli comics, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss out any of the videos I have this month prepared for you guys, and keep talking comics.